first remote podcast slash virtual podcast since everything is turning virtual at the moment due to the coronavirus that's going around.
Like we were trying to set this up, like since I don't know when, like I don't know when you brought up the idea to start this podcast. When did you start? Like when
But
did you
back in October.
in October, and it's March 20 what? March 23rd, 2020. Um, and mostly because a lot of things were happening at that time. Um, and things were just going crazy. Like I have my own personal things that I had to do, and then Abraham is always going back and forth, concerts and work and all. But now with the coronavirus, we have time, and now we just wanted to start at least the first episode. And
Yeah,
we'll
it's
keep going.
it's been a long time coming to this point.
Yeah, bro. So what is the first topic? What are we talking
Could be, just the virus itself.
about? What
Which is,
virus?
if you guys hear noise, that's my sister and her cat in the back. Um, but yeah, I guess the virus. I mean, this escalated quickly in what, a week and a half.
Oh, we can coronavirus, right? Is that the virus? Yeah.
COVID-19.
COVID. Um, yeah, bro. Like it's just so it changed dramatically. Everything just completely changed in the span of like a week, and it's kind of sad, bro. You know?
Really is.
And
Our lives went from going out every single second to having this podcast in remote places now.
I mean, yeah, for the most part, we were living life. I didn't expect this to happen. Kobe died, and then, things kept going bad, and then now we're here, and that's just really. The coronavirus at first, I was just like a China thing, and then it ended up becoming worldwide. Um, and and I don't know why it's been like maybe you know more, but like why has it been so like prevalent? Why is it more like big? Why is it bigger in Italy than it is like around the world? Like you don't have any conspiracy theories about that, or
People are just more close. I mean, if that would strike, I mean, it's in Mexico, but I mean, if it would, people are just social, you know. And once you tell people not to be social, it's like, it's like if I took Fortnite away from like Axel, or drinking away from Kevin. Or, we don't talk about that.
we don't talk about that.
That's
Sorry.
the point. But it's like taking one's livelihood away when this pandemic, began.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just found it a little like I don't know. After the first of all, I found it really suspicious. I'm like, why all of like there was Ebola, we had Ebola, we had Zika, we had the influenza, and there have been like other illnesses and stuff, and like those were worldwide. Those were like it was huge, but nothing ever closed down. And then like I've seen the numbers like with the coronavirus, it's just so little compared to all these other diseases. Like I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Like, what
Well,
do you do?
I remember this. Didn't the Zika virus like hit this summer too? And we were just like, most people
Uh,
just brushed it off, and it's even more. We get like stung by mosquitoes. We get bit by mosquitoes and stuff. So it's like, I guess more. I mean, and there's mosquitoes around everywhere in the summer, but I mean, it wasn't as big as this. And if you think about it, it's not as big. I mean, people die from the flu. A lot of people die from the flu every single year. If you look at the cases compared to coronavirus is down here, and the flu is up here. Influenza is up here.
exactly.
So people just went crazy. It's like, oh, coronavirus. It's like,
Yeah, I don't like that, dude. Like because it's just like I understand. Like now there's more cases in Illinois. If you didn't know, we live in Illinois. I don't know if you watch
Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois, um, Chicago, but nah, it's fine. Nah, but no, like Chicago, the suburbs, um, New
Subies.
York, um, Yeah, we live in Libertyville for the most part, but
Yeah.
yeah, just ignore this Waukegan soccer sticker. I don't know if you can
We
see it,
moved from Waukegan to Libertyville.
but yeah, no, I just don't like how the U.S. has like at least like its people, the citizens have like treated this because it's just like we're going crazy for toilet paper, the aisles are empty, and like there's not enough like there's senior citizens and people that actually need it more than we do, and then they're like struggling, and it's just becoming like I can't go and get a bottle of water now. I can't.
I
What is
mean, yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said any better. You know, people around the world are looking at the United States of America right now, and they're laughing at us. And they're laughing at us. Like, really?
I
They flew to- thousands of rolls of toilet paper off the shelves, and it's just
yeah, it's I don't it's just not right. It's just not right, and I mean, and like there's like we don't have like people can't test, you know, like there's not enough test kits. There's not enough. There's no more hand sanitizer. I don't know what people like decided. People are making hand sanitizer, by the way. People
yeah.
are making hand sanitizer. I saw a meme on Twitter where it was like I was making my own like antibacterial or whatever, and then she woke up in the floor like a day later or something. I don't know.
What?
You know, like it's just like it's not right, man. I don't know. And it really hit everything because now I can't even leave. I've been in quarantine. I've been trying my best not to leave. Like I've been craving ice cream, bro, from La Michoacana, and I haven't gotten, bro. Like that's the sacrifice I'm making here for that. I want to go see my friends, or I want to go see my girlfriend, you know. And I've just made the decision to stay home and play my part, you know, because that's what we should be doing. So if you see anyone doing anything besides being at home, just you know. um, just edit that out. Just
In
edit
my
that out.
defense, I need to go out because I work, and I guess my job is like an essential service to everyone.
No, no, I wasn't talking about that. I wasn't
No,
talking.
okay, yeah, I do go out because I want to go see
You know
people.
what I'm talking about. You know
Point.
what I'm talking.
That's not the point. Okay, I'm safe. Okay,
You're good though. You're good though. You're not.
like if I go to your house, you know, I know you're healthy. Okay, and I know I'm healthy, so I'm gonna just ignore that and make
It's
sure.
my time to go. It's my time to go. That's what I have to say. But,
Mhm, yeah.
no.
Sure.
Do you find it suspicious that like CEOs have been dropping out of their companies during this? Just like you find.
That's
What
I
do
don't know.
you?
That's kind of skeptical, isn't it?
Yeah, bro.
And but one senator, his name's Richard Burr. Not getting into politics, which I've been highly disliked. I'm just kidding.
That's all about.
um, it's a they were having a committee meeting the other day, you know, like weeks before this coronavirus happened and before the economic, you know, impact came. And you know, this you guys have probably heard of this, but like he told his friends and his friends like went to go, you know, cash out their stocks and stuff and before this economic fail and then Ivan, I would like FaceTime you about this and I would watch the stock market fall 3,000 points like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been crazy. It's
You
been
know,
crazy.
a friend of mine named Jose keeps telling me to invest in the stock market, and you know, things have gone down. You know, I feel like it is a good opportunity to invest, but at the same time, it's just like, uh, I mean, it's not like I don't see why. It's just not something. I feel like there's a bigger plan. I feel like there's just like it can't like all of a sudden this virus comes out like in the beginning of the year, and you're telling me that like lives are being taken, but it's not as not to say any life is not like worth anything, but
Mhm.
like just like like less deaths compared to other diseases, and then like everything gets closed down, everything gets shut down, and we're staying telling us to stay inside, and then like these CEOs start dropping out, and then these prices are going down. Like I don't know. I feel like there's a bigger picture to it than it is just. Not to say that the coronavirus or COVID-19 isn't real. It is real, but I feel like there's just a bigger
It's just
person that.
fishy going on. Something more fishy going on.
Yeah. And then you're telling me like you were telling me about a politician, yeah, like that's really suspicious too, like that's. And then the president was in contact with, I forgot who it was, but like was in contact with somebody who eventually got the disease a few days later. And then you're telling me he doesn't can't get it, he's not can like. But if it was somebody else, and like I know there's a vaccine out there, or they have something out there, but they're just not releasing it to the public. Which is really,
just like Area 51.
Exactly. That's all. I was trying to ride my little UFO, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Government is just behind all these things.
But what can we do? We don't have a voice. We don't have power.
I mean,
there's no point in voting.
Speaking about that, we are currently in primary season also, so this just really dropped into.
Yeah, it kind of.
That's very.
Someone in this call voted for. I can't even say that. That's confidential. That's confidential information.
I did not vote for Trump, but that's not the point.
Public.
I mean, we gotta look for the future too. I mean, hopefully this dies down in a few weeks, if not as soon as it can. But we also have a presidential election going on, in November and stuff. So everything's pretty like.
Yeah, it's happening during this time period of elections, and it's kind of like also suspicious to me as well. And then I also saw, I forgot who it was. Like it was a former person running for president, and like they didn't support Mr. Biden, and then eventually they end up supporting him later in a post or two, a few days. I don't know. It's kind of I just
referring to Kamala Harris.
I don't know, bro. It's all too fishy to me. It's all. And hopefully with go out if you haven't gone out to vote, go vote. Go vote. I don't know when this will be uploaded, or I don't know when it'll be on his channel, because he takes a while. He takes a while.
In the state of Illinois, our primary was a week ago. So, and just to tell you some results, Joe Biden won the Illinois primary. The front runner being Bernie Sanders. And so now I guess we're getting into that. What are your views on like both candidates?
Like as I was telling you earlier, anybody but Trump.
Yeah.
Anybody but Trump. I personally would have wanted Bernie to win for Illinois and other states. But it's just that a lot of people are going for Biden. He was a former VP, has a lot of political experience. It's just like he's been there. He knows what he's doing. I guess you could say. I don't agree with some of the things he's done in the past and what he stands for. But if the American people are voting for him and he ends up having to go, face to face with Trump, then I mean, in that case scenario, anybody but Trump, at that point. But I personally would want Bernie to win through these primaries, and I mean, he deserves it. I feel I like his ideology, I like what he stands for, and I feel like that would represent a good future for the U.S. But anybody but Trump at this point. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I couldn't agree more with that, but I side with Bernie, just because he speaks to our generation. More specifically, even though he's a 70-something-year-old, he speaks to 19, 20, mid-20-year-olds. So that's something about him, And if you see on Joe Biden's side, I mean, he might speak to some young people, but he doesn't speak to, I guess, young people as a whole as much as Bernie Sanders does. Given the fact, I guess that's from his proposals that he's made, free college tuition and a lot of immigration. I mean, you and I have immigrant families, so I guess we have to look at the immigration policies as well, which will benefit, further generations of immigrants that come to this country. And
And not just Mexicans, like people in the U.S. think immigrant as just Mexicans, but no, like just like everyone, everyone like
immigrants is a whole. It has a broader definition than just one country. So, and well, I mean, like how you said, anybody is better than Trump, at this point. Well, what can I say? Trump speaks his mind. I guess that's why people like him a lot compared to Joe Biden, or to say former President Obama. He would be careful with his words. They're articulate, and Trump doesn't. He has speeches on the teleprompters, and he goes off the speech. He just speaks his mind. He really doesn't care.
especially Twitter.
People like him.
But yeah, I mean that's just really Trump just makes it really simple, for the average person, he doesn't make things complete. He doesn't use like fancy words, or he doesn't, he just keeps it very simple. Like, we're gonna build a wall, and Mexico's gonna pay for it, and that really never happened. And just, it's just really people who are closed-minded and don't look at a bigger picture, just go to the ballots and just Trump. But
Yeah.
there's the electoral college, but we don't talk about that,
I mean, that's our 45th president. No college education like whatsoever. He says he went to business school, but who really knows? From a reality TV star, compared to the people that are running today. Bernie Sanders, U.S. senator from since the late 80s. Joe Biden has been a part of the Democratic establishment for more than, I don't know, 50, 40 years. And that brings me to another thing, which I would say, before this primary election happened, I was in between, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. One thing, because I liked Bernie's policies, like almost everything, his attitude against Trump and stuff like that. But Joe Biden as well. He's been a part of the Democratic establishment, and if most of you do not know, Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He's just in the Democratic field just for the nomination, but he's an independent. He's been one of the two senators that are independents that have served for a long time. So I guess if I'm a Democrat, I'm gonna vote for somebody that's been Democrat. But
you see, that's where I contradict with that, because it's like, obviously, I can see like why I don't, just because someone's a Democrat, that doesn't mean you also just vote for someone just because they're a Democrat. Not to say that that's not wrong. Mostly everyone in the Democratic Party has like similar views, and similar thought process, But I feel like an independent would also, for in Bernie's case, he's an independent coming in just trying to get the Democratic nomination. At least he sided with the Democrats. But I feel like an independent is, I think it's important. I think it's crucial, because in that sense he votes for what he thinks is right. And what, not necessarily like, he's more open-minded, and not to say that like a Democrat isn't open-minded or anything like that, but an independent, just I feel like it just brings more to the table, as well. But that's my take.
there's nothing bad with being an independent. It's just like you're not part of the current establishment, and I guess you're trying to bring upon radical change into this country. And
Democrats just wanting radical change for the most part. We're not as conservative as Republicans, you could be like a Democratic conservative, like you said before.
Yeah, or a liberal Republican. So I guess, a liberal Republican, hypothetically, or, just for the sake of this, but, it could be like, former senator from Arizona, John McCain, and what he did in 2017, I believe, when Trump was trying to repeal and replace Obamacare, and they were doing this vote, at 2 a.m.
Can you get water real quick?
Water break. And yeah, so he was the lone Republican that voted against the repeal measure for this, you know, and that stuns me because he's a Republican and the president obviously lashed out at him for not doing the right thing, but he broke ties with his own party just to, he felt what he had to do was what the right thing to do was, not go with that. So he voted no, and I guess that's why I have tremendous respect for Senator McCain, and I guess we need to see more of that, and on both sides of the aisle, we have to, if we're so called, the United States of America, and we have two parties, in, in government, so I guess we should all work in bipartisan ways, like right now we're trying to get a coronavirus stimulus bill passed through the Senate, but it failed yesterday and it failed today because of the Democrats. Because Democrats believe that this is just an economic bailout for big corporations, and Republicans are completely in favor for it, but Democrats are not. So I guess that's an issue with these parties now and the current establishment.
Well, yeah, I feel as if that's, I mean, you're right. I mean, I see that, right now, like, people are losing their jobs, people are struggling, people like need to pay bills. Like, I don't know if you saw recently in Florida, I don't now remember the politicians, the people who were working on that, but it was a video how this one individual was going against, they charged the citizens of Florida for the last bill or something, and people need money. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. Sorry about that. But it's just like, people need, like, people are like, you need to pay, you need money more now than ever. Like, if your job is not, if it closes or you're just not having any future employment, uh, because of this whole thing, because of the whole quarantine, you need like money. Like, the government, it's like if you go to the store and you're like a penny short, do you think they're just gonna give you like the piece of bread or a piece of like whatever candy? Like, no, they're gonna be like, no, you can't get it. Same thing here. Like, if you need 1 cent short off like a gas bill, mortgage, or whatever, they'll take it away. Oh, they don't care. No, it's like free for all.
Hmm.
So I mean, like, in a way, maybe what do you think? Is it a bailout for companies or big corporations?
Well, I mean, at this point, I feel like Democrats are overreacting to. I mean, there is some money. I had my sheet upstairs from I read all this, so I was reading the legislation,
Yeah.
and it was like a $250 billion bailout for like the airline industry and other industries, and there was 250 million or $1 billion for individual taxpayers right now. Because we're gonna get $1,000 a month back, two payments of $1,000, depending on your income and stuff. But um, I mean, if you look back at the 2008, what Obama inherited, a bad economy when he came into office. So right away he got into work, and they brought upon a stimulus bill. They talked to the biggest bank corporations and stuff. I watched a few documentaries, um, and they asked for their amount that they wanted, and this is all for the sake of saving America's economy. So I don't know why they're I mean, maybe they have broader beliefs. And I mean, they've been in the establishment for quite some time now, but at this point, just whatever is good for the people. I mean, Democrats are arguing that they don't have enough protections or um, good stuff for the workers right now. They have more good things for corporations, and I mean, there is a lot of money going to a certain amount of industries, but at this point, anything that can bail out the people, most
Yeah,
importantly, people.
I feel like, maybe they are maybe reacting a little bit. I mean, maybe they do have a point. Maybe it is, a bailout in a way. But at the same time, the people need the money. People need food. People need things. Like, everyone has their own lifestyles, and you know we could all benefit with a little bit of money. Always, that's just how it is. But hopefully that can get resolved soon, sooner than later. And if it cannot pass. But I mean, do you think it's gonna pass sooner than later, or do you think it's just not gonna?
I hope it does, because I mean, they're playing political games now, everywhere. This is not even during a pandemic can they get their, act together just to get this through. And they're meeting in a place where it's dangerous for them, for our own representatives in our government to be together when, we have social distancing rules right now going on and stuff. So, just get this done and,
Yeah.
or, politics aside, everything aside, just if the people sent you to work, work on behalf of the people. Don't work on behalf of your party. I mean, obviously you're a part of a party, but you're working on behalf of the people that elected you.
Yeah, I mean I mean, if I was in that position, I mean, obviously, I mean, I belong to a party, I belong to this establishment, but at the same time, the people who elected me, the people, that want certain things, like I have to, not that obviously maybe I will, depending on the person, maybe I would want to decide for this or that, but you work for the people and do your job, get that done. I not just this, but just other things as well. Like it's just like it takes forever and like there's so much. It's basically just so much drama, as Mr. Franco once said. That was our previous AP teacher, and I was about to say professor, but he's not. Yeah. Uh, it's just politics is drama. It's just a bunch of drama, and sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's pretty funny. We have FaceTime calls about that for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, but and more importantly, it's just not, dude. Get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done.
For those of you that don't know, we talk a lot about politics, like a lot. Like, for me personally, it kind of consumes me a lot. That's pretty much what I don't even watch TV anymore. I watch C-SPAN.
Like he FaceTimes me or he sends me a message, right? And like I'm just over here like playing with some friends on Xbox, just like regularly or something, or I'm watching Netflix, and then I just get a message from him, and it's like a bunch of articles from what happened today, or it's like, oh, you should watch this documentary on Netflix about this politic thing, or oh, Ivan, like he always brings up the Watergate scandal, and he's always bringing out like all these things. He has so many books too, and it's just like this man lives around. He lives, breathes, and eats politics. It's just how it is. And uh, I mean, right now maybe we're just like not talking about it as much. Maybe solely for the fact because it's being recorded. And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
it's
politics like might not even care about government, so that's why we're not. I mean, I know I was like a few years ago, I was like, who cares about government, And the day that it struck me about politics was the day that I was watching Trump get sworn into office, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe I have to pay attention a little bit more, because people that didn't pay attention in the election made this happen. People that didn't go vote, people that,
Yeah. For me, I mean, the way I found myself into politics was mostly I mean, I've always just been interested in how the world works and just human beings as a whole, and how this whole construct of society. We're not going to go too much into philosophy because
that's another podcast.
mental breakdown with that. But yeah, I just have always been interested in politics and stuff like that, and eventually, once we started talking more, it's nice to talk about it with somebody, like because I understand what you're saying and you understand what I'm trying to say, and we relate on certain topics, and sometimes we have debates, like not we don't always see eye to eye with things, or sometimes it's like 2 in the morning and we're screaming at each other because that's not right, I don't agree with that, or I don't agree with this, or
And, yeah, to give a quick shout out, I mean, one that always, brings almost every political thing into debate is our friend Edgar Sonito. When it comes to abortion, gun control, yeah, that's a whole different. That's a whole
yeah,
different political story.
this is a quick question. Like, what are your thoughts on abortion? Like what? That's a different podcast. Nah, you don't gotta.
Write
You
it
don't
down for the next podcast because
gotta.
that's something else.
Yeah, I
You
know
got
you're a pro,
to
pro
cut me off
right?
right there, sir. But I mean, yeah.
Is yeah, but I mean, any other thoughts on the world right now and
Well,
COVID-19?
just to bring something up. News that you probably forgot about. Since everything so much is going on in our current lives. But I genuinely forgot that President Trump was impeached last year, and his Senate, trial happened this year too. So it's been 3 months. It's been 3 months, and a whole lot of stuff has been happening.
Yeah, and I mean, do you think he should have been impeached? Do you think he?
I mean, people have been trying to get him impeached since the day he took office, and you can hear that on any type of news,
C-SPAN?
cable, huh?
C-SPAN?
On C-SPAN? Yeah, I watch C-SPAN. Nobody. Sorry for my French. Nobody
He-
fucking watches C-SPAN.
He watches a bunch of Fox News. Like Abraham is such a Fox News supporter.
No, I don't even
I-
have Fox in my cable.
And then he's always bashing CNN for some reason.
I watch CNN.
No, I mean you
Okay,
do
I'm trying to
watch
watch less of CNN, and I've been watching. I have Fox on Facebook, so I watch their biases, and I mean, pretty much it's inevitable.
Everything has bias.
Everything has bias.
Even if you think it doesn't have bias, it has some sort of bias.
Yeah, like even the most non-biased person is biased. There's just some degree of biasness going on.
Just the choices you make in general have a bias. Like it being where you buy food or what activities you partake in or just anything, legit anything, everything.
Everything shapes your identity. Everything shapes two things that that are off limits for certain people are religion and politics. But politics really consumes
And taxes.
and taxes.
Barack Obama.
Like, bro, why can Barry just come back into office? But that's not the point. Yeah.
No, go ahead, bro.
What do you think? How do you think Trump is doing right now, like in office, like his work? What has he accomplished at this point?
Honestly, like, I kind of just like as soon as they got into office, like I just legit did not want to know anything. I did not want to know anything about what he was doing. And I've kind of just kept that motto for a while now. One thing I do know is that the economy was doing pretty decent. Not gonna lie, it was okay. We were doing good. And I've just seen so much backlash about like immigration, and then just so much backlash about just what was it? I mean, just this, and honestly, I can't even think right now. Like you kind of just fried my brain with just asking that question. Like I honestly, like I'm kind of mad right now just because you asked that question. Like I just don't like you legit I know like we talk about this all the time. I know what he has accomplished and has not accomplished, but just you mentioning his name, I just don't. I just like I'm
No, I'm on you with this because, I mean, I guess that.
Well, what good has he done then? What good has he done? Like
No. I guess the good question is what bad has he done? I mean, he's divided the nation more and more. Look what happened in Charlottesville. Anti-Semitism rose again. Bringing back slavery, bringing back white supremacy. And what did the president do? No, he addressed both sides when he could have addressed one side. Okay, anti-Semitism is bad, white supremacy is bad, but he didn't. He didn't, and that says a lot about his character.
I don't know how to turn off notifications, bro.
No, bro, you're fine.
It's my but continue. You were on a roll.
Yeah, I mean, he just that's pretty much it. I mean, he didn't address. That just says who he is. Like he says, I'm not racist and stuff, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. We don't. I mean, I don't know him. I mean, obviously, we don't know him, so we don't know how he is. But he has married almost every single wife that he's married is an immigrant. So I mean, I guess he has a soft spot for beautiful immigrant women.
I, I don't know, man. Like there's so much emerges, so much comes back up from what he's done. Like there was that one thing, like when he said grab him by the,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the whole just the racism, and it's just like I mean I like when you ask me what good he's done, the only thing that came into mind was just the economy. Or I mean, or do you disagree? Like
No, no, I can't argue with that. I mean, one thing that he has stimulated is the economy, and that's good for. There's been a tremendous amount of job growth in this nation. Um, but other than that, I don't have anything else. I mean,
like
try.
when you asked me that question, I was just like, I'm why are you doing this to me, bro? Like
You were
I
bombarded with
I,
anger.
like that's literally the only thing that I possibly know that he's actually done okay. And like besides that, everything is just a bunch of backlash from whatever this side or whatever. Like it's always a new headline, and you can just go online like Trump backlash. But then again, he does get a lot of backlash. I'm not gonna lie. I think I forgot where I read it from, but it was like I think Obama like deported more people than Trump has. In his terms of presidency. And Trump does get a lot of backlash for that. But what do you think about ICE? What do you think about like
I mean, ICE is I mean,
under?
I guess it protects our borders, but I guess Trump just like turned it into something else. Like during Obama and Bush, I mean the Department of Homeland Security was created in the early 2000s when 9/11 happened. George Bush ordered that a new department be created, and therefore Department of Homeland Security came about. And so it's only been in existence for a couple of years, and it's the youngest department. But I guess there's some other elements of Border Patrol that can function as that. ICE is solely just like people think, and I know I believe this, that ICE is just solely to capture people and deport them. I guess that's the notion that they're trying to convey. But there's some other elements of the government that can do that. And going back to Bernie Sanders is he wants to like give that authority back to like the Department of Treasury, Department of certain departments in the government. And I guess the end point would be, I guess we should abolish it, and should give that authority to something else that could be controlled much more better instead of targeting people that shouldn't be targeted.
Um, you know, just talking on immigration, I feel like, obviously we can't just like I understand why, like it's like if you go to another country, obviously they're not gonna let you in unless you have the proper paperwork. But I feel like we should make an easier process for that. Like I know a lot of people from, especially in, Mexico come through the border. They sneak in through the border almost like every day, and I feel like we should, or maybe it's not our business, because I don't know the situation why the paperwork is just not allowed, in Mexico, or that whole process of immigration over there. But there we should make an easier process. Like we are the land that in the beginning of this nation, just people come over, come over here, make a house, work, make jobs, and all that. And now we're just like, no, like go away, bro. Like we don't need you. We don't want more people. I mean, that's the vibe I'm kind of getting from right now. It's just like we don't want people. If anything, we should like there should be some legislation made or something. Just like, okay, if you do come here illegally, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like, well, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you feel like,
I mean, this country was born because of immigrants. If we think about it, the British came over here and colonized everything, and brought these institutions. Obviously, we did not want to be like the British, because they just turned our lives into hell, in America. But we learned from their torture, and obviously, like when we set up our government, we did not want a king, so that's why we have three branches of government. Separation of powers. The president seems like he is the head of state, but he's not the head of he's not a king. So, and and that's why we have checks and balances and stuff. And that's why this whole impeachment process began, because the legislative branch was keeping watch of the executive branch, and obviously the legislative branch thought that the executive branch and the executive was doing illegal stuff while in office, and that can be arguable, but I mean he could have influenced this next election for political gain, and but going back to immigration, some of our former presidents weren't even born here. you know they weren't even born here. So there's a whole YouTube video on that, which I have watched and I forgot. But that's not the point.
What we should do next time, like before we should plan out what exactly, like sorry in advance, like if this is all over the place, it's our first episode,
This is how
and
calls go.
we're
Just
experimenting how because it's a little weird. Like I'm used to FaceTime, like FaceTime calls are just so different because we know.
Like we grab our phones, we move to one room to another. We're in the car thinking about stuff, talking about stuff. But this is just like
it's actually recorded now, and like you're probably gonna look back at this like while editing. You're gonna be cringing. You're gonna be cringing. You're gonna be like, why did we
just for this video?
and like so we're sorry in advance. Like if it's a little like if we're a little maybe not as open or maybe a little like closed-minded, but as we go on, we're gonna get better at this. It's just this is our first episode, so keep that in mind.
Heads up, this might be quite political. There might be just some politics in every single of these podcasts because I mean,
if you think about it, everything in the world revolves around politics.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that's usually
from us. I mean, I guess that'll make us feel better. Because I honestly, like, speaking for myself, I've learned a lot about politics, just on my own. I watch a lot of documentaries, and I read a lot of books, and I read a lot of articles, and it's just
like, I think it was during the Mueller investigation. Did you print out the whole report, or what was it?
Because it was like over 100 pages.
And like Abraham like deciphered every single, like he highlighted everything, and like
something that I did completely follow was the impeachment trial.
Yeah.
And I did print out, and I did have physical copies of the phone call he had with President Zelensky of Ukraine and stuff, and the grounds for impeachment, and I have the resolutions of each, voting on to even have an impeachment vote in the House of Representatives. I have the votes. I have the votes. I have the copy of people who voted against and for, the bill, the resolution. And I have newspapers. I read newspapers, whether you believe me or not. I have a whole collection. So I mean,
for me, I mean, you're more of a diehard, try hard. You go like you. I mean, for me, like obviously, like I mean, I'm whenever you inform me of things or like I'm always interested. But I usually just find like my information just on sometimes like I have the CNN app here at times, or I do sometimes check C-SPAN, or just breaking news on Twitter. That's like rapid, that's happening. And Facebook as well. And it's just like, I mean, that's really where I get my information from. I try like to really verify where I get my information from, because obviously, that's really biased out here. But yeah, it's just, that's everything is just between us. It just revolves around that. So
right, that's the thing right now with getting news nowadays. It's just unreliable. Like, you might get it from like NBC, ABC, CNN, Fox, but like, who are you really trusting? Like, and I guess that's where the president's frustration comes in, where they report false narratives about him, when obviously, or it can be quite the other way around. But only one person can. I mean, it's up to like you or me to like really believe this or not.
Like right now currently, like anything involving COVID-19, like me and my dad like talk about these things, and then like I just like conspiracy theories and all that, but like he's like, oh, like have you seen what's on the news? And like I honestly have just avoided watching the news. I've avoided being on my phone because everything about COVID-19, I don't know what's true and what's not true at this point. I feel like sometimes they represent numbers, and I'm like that doesn't seem right. Or from, I'm not gonna name any news sources, but from this news source, and then I look at another news source and it's completely different, and then I see this source and it says contradictory to this and that, and it's just, I don't know. So be careful where you get your news from. It's really, especially in these times.
I guess that's the moral of the story. Be careful where you get your information from. And watching a lot of TV can be bad and can be good because it like really fries your brain. For me personally, when I was watching this whole impeachment trial, I mean, this whole thing began in like December, and it ended in January. So for the most part, I would watch every single day. All these hearings, all these testimonies, all these committee hearings. And after the impeachment, I told Ivan, I'm like, I stopped watching TV. I stopped watching politics. I needed a break. I needed a huge break from this.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just like so much information just overwhelms you, and then, you just don't know. So taking a break, then even politicians take breaks at time, especially Mr. Trump, he goes golfing. Huge avid fan of golfing. I forgot what I was gonna say before. I had something, like I had it, and then now right as I was about to state it, slipped away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think our government is like well structured at this point?
Well,
does it have its flaws? Can it be, or are you like some people that think, okay, we just have to work with what we have?
I feel like we could improve. I mean, I feel like nothing's perfect. I feel like, that's how I think. I feel like there's always something that can be improved, overall with this. I mean, there were certain aspects of the government, not just to be like picky about one or two things. I feel like this whole just, I mean, like, how can I have it in my mind, but I can't explain. Like, I mean, how would you explain? Because I feel like you could probably explain it better than I can.
I'm trying to explain like what?
Like,
Just like a ballpark of what you're trying to say.
Like, bro, I can't say it, bro. I can't, it's like, bro,
your brain is just
bro,
frying at the moment.
No, you go first, and then I'll.
Do you want like change in government? Like, do you want to change the current establishment? Like, do you think a two-party system is the ideal thing right now, or do you want more new voices, more new ideas to come into?
I mean, what I want is more new voices and more new ideas. Like when I was younger, I was mostly thinking, I'm like, like this is kind of bogus, but I was just like, like all these old people are eventually gonna die, and then eventually like the new people are gonna come in, and then but I mean now we have new voices coming in little by little, but it's just like I feel like we should have more people our generation in there, and just I feel like as soon as more people, I feel like we'll get more done once we have more of our generation in there. That's how.
I mean, speaking on that, our current Congress, which is 116th, don't ask me how I know this, but it's the most diverse Congress ever. We have more women serving in Congress, more young people serving in Congress. One of them being the youngest woman ever elected, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from the 14th District of New York, and she happens to be Hispanic also. So I mean, I guess we are getting there, and that brings me back to something that I wanted to bring up earlier. Let me just write it down because I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
Yields are like here, and then they like as soon as I'm about to talk, they just leave, bro. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. I don't have a pen and paper. Next podcast.
Yeah. Next podcast we're gonna have a lot more. But yeah, we do have. I mean, in the House alone, we do have young people serving. But we have, we need more young blood, as they say. The current speaker, Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California, people were against or opposed to her. You know, they wanted somebody new to be in the speakership. You know, they wanted somebody new as the Speaker of the House. But I guess she still speaks for the current Democratic establishment in the House, and I can't argue with. I mean, she is a woman. She's the only woman to hold that title ever in the history of this country. So I guess we have that milestone that most people do not think about or address. But one thing that I did want to address is I guess it's time for a female president. Um, we could have had that back in 2016, but which brings me to another topic. Because of the electoral college, it wasn't possible. And
You want to give me mad today, don't you? You just like first my brain gets fried, bro, and then you're actually bringing the electoral college. You know how I feel about the electoral college. I don't.
yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. Like how can like our current elections, we don't have the electoral college for primaries. We don't have the electoral college for midterms. But why do we have it for the electoral college? Why can't it just be popular vote if we're so called a democracy? I just don't get it. I mean, Hillary Clinton won by a handful of votes,
Yeah.
but the presidency was given to Donald Trump, and I'm sure he was like, pardon my French, but I'm sure he was like, holy shit, this happened. Um, I just cannot imagine how Hillary Clinton felt at that point. But I mean, that brings me to the topic of the electoral college, and honestly, I'm opposed to it. I don't know how it's been going on for so many, centuries. What, 3 centuries, 2 centuries? But I guess that's I was talking to you about it the other day. Al Gore and George Bush in the 2000 election. How he no 2000, yeah 2000.
She mad, Well, I just don't like why, bro. Like if you're like if you it should be simple, bro. If you win by popular vote, what the people want, if the people want this person as president, it doesn't matter if it's a male or female, go ahead. That's how it should be. Not up.
I mean, yeah. If you think about it, it's stupid. It's stupid. If we're a democracy, okay, whatever that fucking means. Sorry. Um, but if the majority of the people vote for you, then you should be elected. I remember that day I was watching the results come in. Once Florida was given to Trump, I know that was the end of it. Once like it's just crazy. I'm pretty sure Trump just ran for fun. He was like, let's see if this works out. If it leads me to office, then we'll see. But I'm sure he did not have that night in mind. And Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, has tremendous experience. A lawyer. She went to Yale, I believe. That's where she met. That's where she met Bill Clinton. And she had all this political experience. She handled the first lady role in a tremendous way. She tried to lobby for healthcare, in Congress and stuff. She faced backlash for certain things, but obviously she learned from it, and she ran in 2008. She didn't win the primary. She backed Obama. Obama went against McCain. Obviously, Obama won because he made history with being the first African American president, and that was one big milestone. Thinking about slavery and stuff, and
Trump was asking for Obama to release his birth certificate.
Yeah, the whole birthday thing was just. He was born in Kenya. Like, who the fuck says that? Sorry again, but who the fuck says that? Like, come on, like.
I don't know, like our whole situation would be completely different if Hillary Clinton was president right now. I feel like we wouldn't even be as bad as bad as we are right now with everything if she was president. But
I mean, and Trump says like, oh, like now I can't get anything done, but because right now the House of Representatives is controlled by a majority of Democrats, and the Senate is controlled by Republicans. And when he came into office, it was Republican everywhere. So, and he still tried to get stuff done, but there were still some people in his party that opposed some of his actions. So, I guess, and then the Democrats took control of the House in the midterm elections, and he just oh, I can't get anything done. And I mean, that's on you, if you
Like no president has like it isn't prepared for like obviously like the what it always changes, it always shifts, if it's Democrats or if it's Republicans in the House or in the Senate. And but as a president, it's your job to make it work, make solutions, make sometimes bills don't come out as how you would originally want them, and sometimes it favors maybe one side more than it does another, but that's just how it is, having to work together and just bargain.
Yeah. I guess one thing that should be bipartisan and stuff should be gun control, which would be for another video.
Not, you know what? We're bringing it in. We're bringing it in. Nah, I'm just messing with you. No, we can't bring it in.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it just one thing. Just one point about
my AK real quick.
I haven't. Your Second Amendment bumper sticker on your car.
But
I see. No, I'm just kidding.
I have my little keychain on my keys right here,
No, but yeah, I mean, I guess we still have a lot to work for. And for you guys that are watching, I don't think this is the last political video you're gonna see. There's still a lot more we need to talk about.
And it'll be more detailed. I mean, right now, like we're at an hour in, and I don't know if you're just gonna upload this raw footage or you're gonna cut it into sections.
I feel like it should be transparent, so I guess we're just gonna upload the thing in its entirety. And I guess we'll see what people's reactions are.
If you made it this far, I don't know who's gonna come this far, an hour in, and if you are,
if you do, let us know, because we want to know who you are.
We'll be more. I mean, for future videos, we're gonna have it where we're gonna have our research done. We're gonna have our actual facts. Not to say that we don't know what we're talking about. We do. It's just like
we just want to give out accurate information.
Right facts, because then someone in the comments might be like fact checking us, or like, oh, at minute 55:07, Abraham said this and this is incorrect because it was actually one less, or it was this and on this date, And for those people, one person come. Shout out to Christian Antonio. That would be the only person that I would actually think that would do this. But
shout out to my Ivy League.
Mr. Yeah, but we're gonna be more precise. We're gonna have more things covered. We're gonna have maybe I'll be a little shorter, depending on like from now on if we do like one topic, but like more. Less more detail,
yeah,
more precision, But these podcasts are just to express our thoughts, express what we think, and since we always do it on FaceTime, we just decided, why not do it on Skype, YouTube, So thank you for those who stayed.
Thank you guys for watching this whole thing we created. But yeah, I mean, leave us your thoughts about this.
Thoughts, comments. Feel free to message Abraham. He'll have his Twitter right here in the.
It's somewhere. We'll have it somewhere. I have Ivan's Twitter there too.
And if people want to come on, we'll have guest stars too, and and if more than one person, we'll see what happens. But
or if you have questions, submit them and we'll talk about them.
This is more of a Q&A.
Yeah, Q&A. We could do a Q&A. Write down some questions.
No wrong answers. We just.
Oh yeah, just any thought you have. If you think we're doing bad or if you think we're idiots, tell us we're idiots. We'll evaluate that. You'll probably be wrong, but that's not the point. I'm just kidding. We're open-minded, so.
Yeah, But thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I know it's a little weird if I look back at these videos because it's gonna be my face on the whole big screen, and then Abraham's little thing is like. So I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little worried about that. But for the most part, thank you for coming. Sorry I'm looking a little bummy. I just whatever I saw for right now. It's late. It's currently 11:26 at night.
126.
But usually it's always kind of a little bit noisy in the morning, a little bit busy in the morning. So right now it's an okay time to just unwind, you know. But thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for new videos, new anything. And my Twitter handle is right here, and Abraham's Twitter handle is right here. Give us a follow, and thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.
Thank you guys.